Every year, billions of people participate in Valentine's Day without ever asking one dangerous question: why this day? Not why love matters, we all know that, but why February 14th, specifically? Why does romance peak on a random winter date, right after the holidays, when nothing else in human history seems to care about mid-February? The answer isn't cute, it isn't romantic, and it definitely wasn't designed to sell chocolate. To understand Valentine's Day, we have to go back to a time when love wasn't celebrated at all, when survival mattered more than affection. In ancient Rome, February was a tense month. Winter was dragging on, food supplies were thin, disease spread easily, and people believed evil spirits were most active. So instead of celebrating love, Romans tried to control fate, and they did it through ritual. Around February 13th to 15th, Romans celebrated a festival called Lupercalia. It was loud, violent, and deeply uncomfortable by modern standards. Priests sacrificed animals, smeared blood on their bodies, and ran through the streets striking women with strips of animal hide. The belief was simple and terrifying. This would prevent infertility, disease, and death. Women didn't run away. They lined up. Love wasn't the point, fear was. Now here's the part most people don't realize. Lupercalia didn't fade away naturally. It was deliberately erased. By the late Roman Empire, Christianity was gaining power, and pagan festivals like this were a problem. But banning traditions outright had a habit of backfiring. People resist losing rituals tied to survival. So the church used a different strategy: replacement. Take the date, take the attention, change the meaning. This is where Valentine enters the story, but not as a symbol of romance. At least, not yet. In the 3rd century, Rome was ruled by Emperor Claudius II, a man obsessed with war. He believed unmarried men made better soldiers, so he banned marriages for young men outright. According to historical records and early Christian texts, a priest named Valentinus quietly defied this order. He performed marriages in secret, at night, knowing full well the punishment would be death. Eventually, Valentine was caught. He was imprisoned, beaten, and sentenced to execution. This isn't legend. Roman records confirm Christian executions during this reign. What is debated is what happened next. One account claims that while awaiting execution, Valentine formed a bond with the jailer's blind daughter. Another claims he healed her. Before his death, he allegedly wrote her a note, signed simply, "From your Valentine." Whether that line is literal or symbolic, something important happened here. For the first time, love became an act of rebellion. Valentine was executed on, or very near, February 14th. But here's the twist. After his death, nothing changed. Valentine's Day didn't become romantic overnight. For centuries, it was just another saint's feast day. Quiet, religious, and mostly ignored. The church had replaced Lupercalia, but it hadn't created romance yet. That came much later, and from an unexpected place. In medieval Europe, people believed something strange about mid-February. They thought birds began choosing their mates on February 14th. There's no solid biological proof, but belief is often more powerful than fact. Poets latched onto this idea, especially Geoffrey Chaucer, who explicitly linked St. Valentine's Day with romantic pairing in his writing. This reframed everything. Love became seasonal, timed, almost destined. If birds found their mates on this day, maybe humans were meant to do the same. The idea spread through poetry and court culture. People began exchanging handwritten notes, tokens, and verses. Early Valentine messages meant for one person and one person only. For the first time, Valentine's Day wasn't about fear, law, or religion. It was about choice. But intimacy doesn't scale well. And that's where the next transformation happened. In the 19th century, printing technology exploded, postal systems expanded, and businesses noticed something important. People wanted help expressing feelings they struggled to put into words. The first mass-produced Valentine's cards appeared in the 1840s. Suddenly, romance was accessible, even for those who weren't poets. Then came chocolate, flowers, jewelry. This wasn't accidental. Valentine's Day survived not because it was ancient, but because it was adaptable. It absorbed violence, faith, poetry, and commerce, and somehow made them feel personal. By the 20th century, the holiday was fully commercialized, yet emotionally effective, which raises a final, uncomfortable question. If Valentine's Day began with fear, was reshaped by execution, romanticized by poetry, and perfected by marketing, why does it still feel real? Maybe because the core hasn't changed. At every stage, Valentine's Day has been about the same human anxiety, being alone during the hardest part of the year. In winter, when resources were scarce, people feared death. In Rome, they feared infertility. In medieval times, they feared missing their destined match. Today, we fear being unchosen. Valentine's Day didn't invent love. It organized it. It gave it a date, a story, and a moment to surface feelings people were already carrying. And whether you see it as meaningful, manipulative, or somewhere in between, it's impossible to deny its power. So next time February 14th rolls around, remember, you're not just celebrating romance. You're participating in a ritual that survived empire, execution, and centuries of reinvention. And maybe the real question isn't where Valentine's Day came from. Maybe it's why, after all this time, we still need it. If this changed how you see Valentine's Day, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if it didn't, tell me why.